This segment is sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You can call us here at 737-7767. We'll open up our phone lines and be glad to answer any questions you might have about what's going on. Yeah. How to get involved with the vets too? That'd be a great question.
Yeah.
But we'll also answer hunting, fishing questions too.
Whatever you got, give us a shout.
Whatever you got, we'll take it. But while we got the veterans on here, again, are you looking for onesie twosies, or can you take 8, 10? What if you got some buds that wanna?
We have an 8-vet doe hunt coming up in Lynchburg, December 2nd. I'm trying to expand it to about 15, but
oh yeah,
I don't know if it'll hold them.
Yeah,
but
well, that's awesome.
Opening day we took 14.
That's right.
So there is some numbers that you can get, and like you said, the dove hunt was for 60.
Yeah,
that's right.
And 25 showed up, but it rained. So.
Yeah, it was. Opening day this year.
That's right.
It was good dove hunt, but it was terrible weather.
We did a big quail hunt too in Coal Canyon. We've done a few big things. It's hard for us to staff it, honestly.
I'm sure. Yeah, because I mean, you got 14, 15 individuals to hunt. You got to have several guys to be able to get out there.
That's right. I mean, make sure there's water, make sure there's stuff that we just don't want to bring people out there and not look like we know what we're doing. You know.
How can somebody? All right, we've talked about you guys taking them and all that. I know that somehow there's got to be a way to donate to this, or like to. Yeah. What about those that just want to be able to give to the cause to help you guys get water and get whatever you need? Is there some way to do that?
Well, we raffle all the time. We're always asking for money, but we have a PayPal account that we use, gotcha. So that can be put out. Otherwise, you just get a hold of us and let us know what you want to do so we can facilitate it.
Yeah,
that's a good. Hi, we got a caller here. We got Danny. Danny, how can we help you tonight?
Yes, I buy my grandchildren their lifetime hunting license. Do they have to have like a supplement to muzzleloader hunt and rifle hunt and stuff like that, or does that one license cover it all?
That covers it all.
That covers every bit of it.
If they have lifetime sportsman, the only thing that they'll need to do is when they turn 10 years old, they will need to complete the hunter safety course. But as far as any supplemental licenses, they should be good to go.
Now, they do have to have that federal duck stamp.
Yes, anything federal.
Anything federal they have to have, okay?
And if they dove hunt, they have to have
the migratory bird
stamp, yes.
That's under federal.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff they still have to do, but anything that the state collects monies for as far as hunting or fishing, your kids are covered.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? They can even put in for the quota hunts and all that and never pay anything.
Oh, they can? I didn't know that.
Yes. Anything that the state is running, they get full advantage of that. But now if the federal government's involved, you do have that a duck stamp and migratory bird and all that. You have to have that. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Great question. And Scott, how can we help you tonight?
I was wondering about the blue-tongue disease. How does the deer react and how bad is it?
Brandon?
Well, you're probably actually more leaning towards CWD. I'm not. EHD, I mean not CWD, but blue tongue. A lot of people will call it blue tongue, but that's really more so your bovine version, cattle and things like that. But with EHD, it typically is in pockets. You may have 3/4 of a county doesn't get touched by it, and you may have a 4 square mile area that loses almost every deer there is. Typically, if you see a deer sick with EHD, many times you'll find it near water. It will not be acting correctly, and there's a lot of times when they seem to walk in circles. And they will circle and circle and circle and circle and then finally lay down. But as far as just telling you how they act, the biggest thing to say would just be that they are not acting normally, and you will notice that quickly. I mean, it will not act like a normal deer. It will not be afraid. It may not necessarily appear sick physically, but it will.
You're right. Now,
you know,
the deer that I've seen that got affected and died from it were healthy-looking deer.
Yes, and
wasn't seeing ribs and all that. And so it's not like they lose a lot of weight to do it.
No, and you may see some deer right now too that you may see some ribs or thin or something. There are survivors of EHD.
Oh, yes,
they don't just get it in there. It's just a death sentence. I mean, sometimes it'll make them sick, and they'll make it through it. And you know, you'll see them kind of struggling right now trying to put weight back on, but they can survive it.
And I still say that that's one of the reasons that you'll have some deformities when it comes to the antlers and the hooves and stuff like that. Is they probably had EHD the year before.
It's very possible.
Very possible that could happen. But as far as the acting, what happens is their tongue does actually swell.
Yes.
And it makes them really thirsty. And that's the reason you see them at the water.
That's why you usually find them near water.
That's why you find them at water. So that's mainly the symptoms. Brandon is very much correct on that. But that's mainly what we see. And
it is. And
I've seen it on film.
It's not always the same, but usually it's pretty typical. And water, there's been some places this year, you know, unfortunately, in some of these counties, they have found numerous deer up and down creek beds, and certain pond might have 10 dead deer in it. So, I mean, it
close to rivers and stuff like that. So, we hope that helps you out. We appreciate it. All right, some great calls we had tonight, and just a couple of good ones there. Brandon, we've seen a lot of deer activity, and guys, y'all have too. You're out there in the woods all the time. Main complaint has been the acorn mass crop was enormous this year.
You can slip and fall on them, man.
Oh, my goodness. One guy texted me and said, "Hugh, is it raining in the forecast?" I said, "No, it's sunny outside. It's raining where I am." He said the acorns were hitting his stand and clanging and making all kinds of noise. And a lot of people are struggling a little bit with adapting to the acorn mass crop.
If you've planted food plots and you're sitting back waiting on them to get to the food plots, you'll be waiting a little bit longer.
Early.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be there, but man, this year, they have been in those acorns, and that's where they're going to be. If there's acorns available, that is where they're going to be. That's where your does are.
To us.
That's right. And,
Courtney, that's like chocolate to us.
So, you know, wherever those acorns are, that's where your does are. Where your does are, that's where your bucks are.
Gonna be.
So, yeah, no doubt about it.
All right, so we got to give our tip of the week now. And this week's tip of the week is being brought to you by Davison Farmers Co-op. They're having sale after sale after sale. Have you seen it?
They are. I was in there yesterday.
Those girls are going crazy over there. They're selling out everything. They're having a winter cleaning, I think. So go by, check them out over there. They're right there on Dickerson Road, right by Briley Parkway. And go in there and see Miss Laura and Carla and all of the fine gals out there. They are smart, know what they're doing out there. Go by and check them out. Hey, this week's tip is, I'm going to give a fishing one. We've been giving hunting.
Yeah, let's get some fishing tips.
Let's give a fishing one. I'm going to tell you, the trick to catching more fish in the winter and the fall is downsizing. Downsize your line. Where you used to use 12-pound test, now use 8. If you used to use 10, use 6. Set your drags accordingly. Downsize your bait. Make the bait smaller. And when you don't have to really hunker down to set the hook, just let them set their own selves. But play your fish in the winter. I promise you, you'll catch bigger fish with lighter line, and they'll hit those smaller baits a lot faster than those great big baits. Take them out there and try them out this weekend, because it's supposed to be, no, it's raining Saturday.
Saturday's going to be kind of a wet one Saturday.
So wear your rain gear.
Wear your rain gear and your windproof jacket. That's what you're going to need.
But now Sunday's supposed to be fairly, it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold.
You might want to carry some hand warmers.
Yeah. I'll have some hand warmers when we're heading in Sunday afternoon.
Well, we hope that helps you out. We're going to take another break. When we come back, Tom Courtney is in the house. Something about killer corn, but, you know, I thought it was illegal to bait in Tennessee. We'll be right back with more Southern Woods and Waters.